Hello, my name is Marva, and I'm here at CoBiz in Richmond, a co-working place. And so we have our second artist talk from Virginia Jourdan, and she has a new piece of art in the window. And so, Virginia, tell us about your new piece of art that's in the window.
So, first of all, I'm really excited about how they have curated this show where I bring a piece of artwork every week. And so today is the second piece of artwork, and this one is called The Right to Education. And it's about Ruby Bridges when she integrated the school down in New Orleans. And at first I named the painting Carnival because Ruby Bridges said that when she saw all these white people yelling and just screaming and everything, she thought it was a carnival until she kept going to school and noticed that other people were not coming to school and she was the only one there. And so I added the right to education because that's one of the articles in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights where we have the right to education.
So that's interesting. So in a child's mind, she saw something fun, a carnival, and she thought it was a carnival until she looked around. It shows sometimes how children are innocent until they've experienced negativity.
Right.
So that's interesting.
Right.
And so I noticed she's got sparkles on her and so forth. Is that part of the carnival?
No, it's not part of a carnival, but that's a very interesting question where it could have been part of the carnival, except it's just that I painted her where she is a special child and an innocent child. So she has angel wings on her and she has a halo because children are born innocent. You know, they're not born with hatred and prejudice. That is learned. And so you have this little girl standing in between these huge marshals who are guarding her. And she's just, innocent. And her head is cocked a little bit to the side, as she's looking out in the distance at these people who she's not understanding is screaming epithets towards her. But she was so used to seeing Carnival in New Orleans. So at that time, she was like, and I'm sure they probably looked like they were in a carnival, just looking very ignorant, yelling at this poor little girl. It probably did look like a carnival.
Right.
But anyway, so that's why I had named it Carnival. But I'm also trying to get people to focus on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights articles that talks about our human rights, the rights that we have just because we are human beings. It's inalienable rights that can't be taken away from us because these are rights that God gave us.
And it's interesting because children today aren't going to school because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is an example of what they should be looking at to continue to keep going to school, to continue to learn, because it's part of being a human, is the learning process.
Yes. Well, I'm also an art educator, so I'm teaching middle schoolers and high schoolers. And since we've been teaching virtually, the experience that I've had and what the students have expressed is that this is a very difficult time because they have a lot of distractions, especially African American and Hispanic students. They're at home taking care of their siblings while their parents are at work, or they have to do some type of chore or something. But there's a lot of distractions, so they can't really focus in on what they're doing. And so we try really hard and kind of bend over backwards to try to get them to get the points that they need to graduate or to excel to the next grade.
Yes, that's interesting. So one little girl was going to school, but no one was there. And nowadays we have children at home, not at school, but are still trying to learn. Interesting.
Right, yes. And there was just one teacher that went to school to teach Ruby Bridges. And up to this day, she's so grateful for that one teacher. So Ruby Bridges did put out a book about her life. And it talks about that one teacher who was dedicated enough and to look past her color or to be influenced by her colleagues, where it was just those two in the school.
Oh, that's okay. Ruby Bridges wrote a book about her experience, and the instructor who was open enough to look at her as being a child who wanted to learn.
Right.
I think everybody should look for that book. That sounds interesting. That sounds interesting. Okay, so this will be our second art talk with Art in the Windows. And so stay tuned for next week. Next Monday, we'll have another piece of art from Virginia Jourdan at the CoBiz co-working space in Richmond. Thank you for showing up, and we'll talk to you later.
And what's the address here? So if anybody wants to come by, they can come check us
Yes.
out.
It is 1503 McDonald Avenue, Suite A, Richmond, California.
All right, great. So you guys come on down, take a look. You know, if you want to get out and get some fresh air, come walk down McDonald and you can see the work in the windows.
Yes. Thank you.